your heart beating in the same rhythm. You are experiencing the heartbeat of a dying man. And it is with death and dying that we concern ourselves. What happens at the point of death? What happens after?
Hello my friends, and welcome back to the completed project. This here is the cemetery that I had been building over the last couple of weeks. All the different pieces that I had done, the mausoleum, the fountain. Here it is in its completed form. This was a treat to build. I was actually very interested and into it the whole time. I was really excited to see the progression of this project. And here it is. I think it's absolutely awesome. I absolutely love it. It turned out really well. Let's go to the video. I'll show you how I did it. Okay, to start the project off, this is some foam I got from some friends. I have a lot of this, so I started using this up. Just cutting this up into different chunks. And the basis of this is to make different levels of the project. So cut different size pieces, kind of different terrain areas, and just glued them all together. So I've got 3 levels total, and this was actually pretty easy. Just cut that up, and then after everything was glued down, I just did some drywall compound all over the whole surface of it. Just to keep it a little bit smooth and fill in any pretty big gouges. So after that, I cut hundreds and hundreds of bricks, and then I started gluing them all together to be retaining walls for the different levels, which I thought looked really cool. Then I made some stone patterned foam and made that into stairs. And I had to be really careful with this because there were definitely things I had to do in order. And I almost screwed up a couple of times, but thankfully I caught myself. And one of them was I needed to Mod Podge and paint the brick and stone before I did anything else. So I got to work doing that. After that was done, then I painted up the main grass areas. Just a little bit of a green, just to have that underneath as a base color. So once that was all painted up and looking mighty green, then I moved on and I started to paint the brick. This is just a simple gray. After that was all dried up, then I went to work and I used different colors again to make this pop, to make it look a little bit more real. So again, there were some different color washes that I used. I think it was a red and a blue and a brown, I think it was, and just did that all over the brick. And then after that was done, hit it with a dry brush, and it came out awesome. Looked just great. Then after that was done, I was able to start with the terrain. And I started using some of my sawdust that I had made a while ago. And this was just to give a little bit of dead grass look. After that was all done and dried, moved on to the 3D gravestones that I printed off. I got them all painted up, black washed, and then after that, a nice dry brush over top. And they turned out really good. These look really cool. Pretty realistic in my opinion.
Hey everybody, if you're enjoying this video, please do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. Let's go back to the video.
So then I went back after this the terrain was dry and started putting different layers of things. So I started with a dark green static grass and just sprinkled that over patches. I wanted some of that dead grass or that dead earth coming through. And then I tried to do something here a little bit different. I took a bunch of twigs and I glued them together at the base. And these were to simulate just dead trees, you know, end of season sort of thing. So painted them up all black and they turned out pretty good. And here you can see a bunch of pillars that I made out of just more of those bricks. Glued them all together and then I glued a bead on the top of them. Got them all painted up, dry brushed, and they turned out pretty cool. And this is going to be the fence posts. Basically the gates in between the fencing. So they turned out really good. They look pretty cool. And they go all the way around. So after that was done, went on and started gluing down the gravestones. This was really fun, this part. Just make them, you know, get them deep enough into the static grass that they looked really cool, really real. And I made a few that were crooked. They turned out really good. And then adding just a little bit of autumn colors here, just to simulate some dead leaves that have fallen off the trees. And this really gave it a brightness, a different texture that really was really cool. So I'm glad I did that. Add a little bit of mossy green in some crevices. I did not use too much of this. I didn't want to overpower the project with it, but just a little bit I did. And then I wasn't really happy with the stone colored globes or those beads that were on top of the pillars. So I decided to go with copper, which actually match the copper owl on the mausoleum. So I think that turned out a little bit better than I had originally had it as the gray stone. So here's just some really thin pieces of XPS foam that I'm working with cut up, and this is going to be the fence. And this took a while. This was quite a delicate process. But after it was all done, I used some cut off toothpicks that I painted black and glued them into place. So that would be the uprights of the fence. And they turned out pretty cool, I think. Okay everyone, I thank you so much for joining me on this video. You guys have a great one.